Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and today we're going to be counting down the top 5 hardest boss fights in Call of Duty Zombies. Now, a few days ago, I made a similar video talking about the top 5 hardest Easter eggs, and in that video, we were taking account into everything, you know, the main quest steps and all that getting up to the boss fight. But today, we're just going to be looking at the Call of Duty Zombies boss fights themselves, their mechanics, and in my opinion, which ones are the hardest in the franchise. Now, in the last video, you guys absolutely smashed the like goal, so we'll aim for the exact same one as we did last time at 750 likes. So if you guys haven't done already, make sure you do hit that thumbs up right now. Also, make sure that you guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribing for more content just like this. I'll be making videos similar to this style pretty much every single day, so you guys know what's coming up. And also, guys, I did make a second channel. I just want to announce this a few more times in case anybody hasn't already gone over there and subscribed. As soon as I hit about 1,000 subscribers up on that second channel, we're going to be streaming over there, and we're getting pretty close. Like, it's going to be here pretty soon. So if you guys haven't already checked out the second channel, links in the description right now. Make sure you go give that a look for me. I'd love you so much. But we're going to go ahead and jump straight into the top 5 hardest Easter eggs in Call of Duty Zombies. And I'm also, in a few days, going to make another video similar to this about the top 5 easiest Easter eggs. So what I want you guys to do is let me know in the comment section, what is the easiest Easter egg in Zombies in your opinion and why? Now, of course, things like the Giant and the Annihilator, that doesn't really count because that's not a main questline stuff. I only want to focus on maps that have a main quest Easter egg, and then we're going to be picking from that. So let me know in the comment section, what's your easiest Easter egg in any Call of Duty Zombies game and why? Let me know down below, and in a few days, I'll be making a video picking from your guys' comments as well. But with that all being said and out of the way, I want to get into the top 5 hardest boss fights in Call of Duty Zombies. In my opinion, I'm going to explain why I think that these ones are a little bit more difficult, and you guys can also let me know if you agree with this list or not. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into the list. So the map taking our number 5 spot here today is going to be Infinite Warfare Attack of the Radioactive Thing. Now, this Easter egg isn't really that hard getting to the boss fight. I mean, the chemical step is a pain, but gameplay speaking, you can do this on an extremely low round. I think, you know, you could go by 5 or 6 if you do it right, and it's pretty easy to get to the boss fight, but the boss fight itself is actually not a joke. I honestly think that this is one of the better designed boss fights in Call of Duty Zombies. Now, aside from this looking like a PS2 game, I mean, let's be real, this map is not the prettiest. Even for a next-gen console, I don't know how, you know, it came across with these graphics, but they look really silly. I think we can all agree that this does not look like a next-gen console game, but the core boss fight mechanics and the ideas themselves are actually really, really solid. You basically, in the first sequence, need to escort a bomb all the way down to the bottom of a beach while getting, like, barraged by his, like, those drops, those meteors, and those Krogs the whole time, and it gets really, really hectic. The second sequence, you gotta shoot this middle piece on his chest with these turrets, and like the whole time while zombies are coming out, you need to find, you know, the perfect amount of timing to be able to shoot him while that chest piece is open and avoiding zombies at the same time. And then the third and final sequence is where he's gonna light up the entire beach except for the back portion with this radioactive sludge, and you can't stand in it, and you need to kind of like, it's almost like a game of zombies in a game of zombies. It's like a wave defense sort of survival kind of thing until he begins the lasers. And the lasers themselves trip a lot of people up. This is something that I saw teams just struggling with all the time doing this Easter egg. When you get the pattern down, it's really not that hard to do, but when you're first learning it, it can be very tricky. And then finally, when you actually enter the radioactive thing's mouth, you need to type in the bomb code, but you cannot pull up your HUD while you're in the belly of the beast. So if you don't memorize the code, then you're pretty much screwed, and you have to, like, you know, it's pretty much a rip in the chat from there. It's definitely doable and can be done very quickly, but you have to make sure you're paying attention at all times, because if you slip up, that's pretty much going to be the end of the game for you. But that's why I have Attack of the Radioactive Thing coming in at the number 5 spot. So coming in at the number 4 spot, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm sure this one is one that not everybody's going to agree on, and I'm going to have to give this one to the Final Reich's boss fight. Now, the reason why I give it to this one is because it's not very difficult in the traditional sense where, you know what I mean, like Garad Krovi, where it's just a very, very intense, hard-to-do boss fight, and, like, you know, it's all in your face. There's a lot to do at once. It's not really about that. The Final Reich has an Easter egg where it's sort of a very simple concept, and it'll literally tell you what to do on screen. There's hints up on the front as you're actually playing the thing, so it's not a very hard concept to understand at all. The thing is, though, it's a boss fight to where if you have any sort of lapse in concentration, you're probably gonna die. If you get overconfident, there's a high chance that you could fail this. If you're trying to be flashy or trying to be showy, there's a high chance that you're going to end up taking it down. And because it can throw anything at you at any time, and it's a very random boss fight, you know what I mean? Like a blade zombie could be just around the corner, and if you look away just for a second, that could actually mean the end of the game for you, because you could be hit by him, and then the Panzer Mortar could swing through and take the rest of your armor, and that could result in a down. It's one of those things where you just have to always be focused, or else you will end up dying. But as long as you give it your full concentration, you know what you're doing, and, you know, nothing's going to be there to distract you. This is actually one of the easiest boss fights in Call of Duty Zombies, so it's just a very polarizing one. And that's why I felt like I should have put it on the list, because I know some people do struggle with it, and, you know, people who just really aren't able to pay attention for those really long periods of time, and to be able to focus on that, they seem to struggle with this map a little bit. But that's why I thought it deserved at least one spot on this list, and I'm really excited for DLC 1 and see what kind of boss fight they have in store for us. Maybe they'll up the game, and it'll be even tougher than this one. Who knows? We will have to see. But that's why I had to take the number 4 spot. Now let's get into our number 3 spot, ladies and gentlemen. Now, taking your number 3 spot, this one is going to have to be Black Ops 3 Gorod Krovi. Now, I did talk about this in the other video that I made, but this boss fight, I'm going to reiterate it on again, is probably my favorite in all of Black Ops 3 Zombies. I mean, the ones in BO3, all the boss fights, the Shadows of Evil and Revelations, just with the Shadow Man, are cool boss fights, but they're not great, you know what I mean? Like, they're not amazing. You can end those in 20 seconds flat. There's not any cool sequences to them, and they're very basic once you break it down and know what's going on. But Gorod, there's really no way to cheese it. There's a couple ways you can, you know, if you pop Idolize on Nikolai and things like that, but nonetheless, you still have to fight 2 bosses. You gotta fight the Dragon and Nikolai. Also, not to mention, statistically speaking, this is the hardest boss fight in BO3. The least amount of people have completed it, according to the Xbox and PlayStation trophies. So, I mean, if that tells you anything, I think if Gorod didn't make it on this list, there would be a problem. So I also wanted to include a Black Ops 3 boss fight, and I think this is the most deserving of it. So that is why Gorod Krovi has to take our number 3 spot for the top 5 hardest boss fights. So now let's get into our final 2 for today. So taking our number 2 spot is gonna be the infamous Zombies in Spaceland. Oh my god, I wish that I was making videos and like recording a lot back in the day. When this was pre-patched, when the map first dropped and everybody's trying to complete this boss fight, I was on the grind trying to do this as well. And the pre-patch boss fight of this was so hard. It was essentially impossible to do. So many people could get up to the boss fight because the Spaceland Easter egg itself, getting to the boss fight is easy, and then once you're actually with the aliens, that's where the real fun begins. And I remember this, when I actually beat this for the first time solo pre-patch, this was a huge accomplishment, and I actually didn't really realize it back in the day until now. I can sit back and think on it and I'm like, wow, that was insane. But I literally got so loud when I completed it because I was really happy. I was in college at this time, I was in my dorm, and the RA came through the hallway to yell at me because I was being too loud. Like, it was nighttime and I was waking people up apparently, but the RA came through and grilled me. But you know what, dude, I don't even care because it was so worth it, man. It's a classic boss fight, really. I think IW did amazing on Spaceland, and there's so many cool sequences, like the colors at the beginning, and then the clowns that you fight, and then the aliens, and it's even more fun on co-op when there's more aliens. So if you guys have never done this, I really recommend you give it a go. If you hop on IW right now, you can literally just jump right into the Spaceland boss fight and just have fun with it and just go ham. It's a great time. But that being said, it's still a pretty tough one. I mean, it's no walk in the park, even on, like, the boss battle game mode where you can just pick whatever you want. It's still not super easy unless, you know, you do the Reaver cheese. I don't know if you can still do that, but if you just play it with the zappers or whatever, it'll still give you a run for your money, and it's a great time, even if you're an experienced Zombies player or you're brand new to the game. But that's why Spaceland had to take number 2. I have some great memories on this map. Let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about Spaceland as well. But that being said, guys, that is going to be number 2. So coming in at our final number 1 spot, I'm sure this is the map and the boss fight that you guys saw coming from a mile away. And this, of course, has to be Memphis Staff, the super Easter egg in Infinite Warfare. You want to sit back and talk about a boss fight that gave me anxiety, one that raised my blood pressure to extremely unhealthy levels, and pretty much really just ruined my life. I mean, this is what did it. This boss fight I didn't expect to be this hard, but I love it, like, how difficult it ended up being in the long run. Now, this boss fight, if you've never done it, I recommend you go give it a try, but this is something that, don't get too invested in it unless you seriously want to complete it. I've only done this solo once, and I was done with it, and actually getting this gameplay was a lot tougher than I thought because I'm rusty now. But Memphis Staff is the very definition of a boss fight. It's like such like a classic one. If you ever like played old video games that had boss fights where they'd absolutely smack you the first couple times going through, you really need to learn every single move. And if you get caught slipping once, that's pretty much game over for you. That's exactly how Memphis Staff works. You need to go in at least maybe, I don't know, 5-6 times just to learn the moves. It's really useful if you go with the team just so you can see what he can do. And then if you want to go for it solo or, you know, again with your team, you'll know what he's capable of, and that makes it a lot easier. But it's still, even if you have all the knowledge of what you can do, executing it is still another story. Now, if you guys don't know how the Memphis Staff boss fight works, essentially there are 5 rings on the ground. These are called talismans, and you need to stand inside them to charge up, just get them fully charged up so souls release. You shoot him with the souls, get him down, and then shoot that corresponding talisman that's tatted on him. And you do that for all 5 of the rings, and then finally when you're all done with that, I know that's easier said than done. I mean, that's a struggle in and of itself, but once you successfully get all 5 talismans charged, then you need to sort of fill them up where you shoot those ones tatted on his body enough, and he's spawning in so many attacks and different enemies on you while this is all going on, that this is where most people, including myself, ended up downing at. I got to this point so many times and died. I was done with life, really. As soon as I completed this solo, I think I was ready for retirement. You know, I was ready to sit back, play golf every day, sip on a few brewskis, and then yell at kids for getting on my lawn. Like, I think I was just done with it all. But there's no way at all that this boss fight does not deserve to take the #1 spot. This is by far the hardest boss battle in Call of Duty Zombies ever, and I honestly don't know if any game's going to be able to top it. World War II might do it. I don't know if BO3 or BO4 is going to be able to do it, to be honest with you, because their boss fights don't usually seem to be like super ridiculously hard like this, and I don't know if World War II is going to try to up on Infinity Ward here. I don't know. We'll see. I'd be up for the challenge, but this is definitely something that if you're really up to, you know, try it, this is the hardest thing that you can do solo or even with a team, because it's still hard with other players as well. It's definitely doable, but you'll probably lose your sanity trying to get it done as well. But guys, that is going to be why Memphis Staff takes the #1 spot on this list. And this has been the top 5 hardest boss fights in Call of Duty Zombies. Now, what I want you guys to do in the comment section is let me know what's the easiest Easter egg in your opinion, because I'm going to be making another video about that too. And I want to get your guys' feedback, because it's going to be subjective for everybody, and I just want to get some other opinions on it. But let me know in the comment section what the easiest Easter egg in Call of Duty Zombies in your opinion might be. And of course, we're talking main quests here, but that's going to be it for the video for today, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you go over to the second channel if you have not done so already. Before you leave this video, go ahead and check that out for me. That'd be very, very much appreciated. And other than that, guys, I really appreciate you watching this video. You've been awesome. Thank you, everybody, for coming out again, and I'll see you all up on the next live stream or the next video. Peace out.